And I had a little bit of trouble with this headset earlier, so let me know if you can hear me okay. I want to make sure everything is good. Um, so yeah, hi, welcome back. Last we left off, we were playing Detroit to Become Human. We're going to continue that today. And yeah, when we last left off, we were kind of going back and forth between Kara, who has escaped bondage, with Alice, the young girl, helped her escape from her abusive father, and then we're also playing Connor, the cop, and we had kind of a scene where we were playing as Connor in pursuit of Kara, who we'd previously had, and then it was kind of jumping back and forth. So yeah, so definitely some interesting stuff with point of view going on that we'll probably try to talk about a little bit more today. And otherwise, I think I'm just going to dive in. Yeah, definitely feeling less sore
Several
today.
sources report that CyberLife has provided Detroit police with a prototype detective android. Although police assistant androids have...
For several years now, this would be the first case of an android being authorized to play an active role in criminal investigations. We contacted CyberLife for comment, but no longer...
The controllers are really growling.
We are now approaching Farmhouse Station. Please take care when stepping onto the platform. Customers are reminded that all androids must ride in the designated area.
This place will be free. Find Jericho.
Okay, for graffiti.
They missed me. You spare some change?
Aw, so yeah, like this game, I feel like it's like a constant story of the game, you know, offering an affordance, like where this guy is like leaping out to try to interact with me, and I'm like, cool, let me try to interact with him, and no dice. I don't actually know Detroit. I've never actually been to Detroit. I'd be curious to see like how accurate these subway lines are. It's a thing when I play games about Boston or San Francisco that I really enjoy. Yeah, I'm just really wanting to interact with these people apparently that I cannot interact with. It's just like people are such a strong affordance. We'll pick up this magazine. So it is cool. I think we've gotten far enough into the game now that I do find myself starting to wonder things like, oh, am I seeing this because of specific choices that I've made? Like, what would that screen look like if I had made different choices? And that's a really easy, inexpensive way to leverage content that the player's done. Of course, this game's doing a lot with like full branching scenes, but or at least it feels like it is. But in places where that's not the case, you can get a lot of leverage out of a still shot with some text over it that says something like that. Okay, cool. I've also got a little bit of a glare on my screen with the time of day that it is here in California. So if I'm missing something really obvious, I actually would not mind for right now having chat kind of yell at me. So I saw this gigantic symbol and was like, oh, it can't be that. That's apparently too obvious, because it felt like that was where my cursor started. But no, apparently that was the... Okay, cool. So now I feel like I'm understanding the puzzle a little bit better. It's a great little exchange. I mean, I kind of wonder how an Android band could be any creepier than like some actual boy bands, but.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
He has this like perpetual expression of being mildly annoyed.
Space occupied. Welcome to Android Park.
Do you know where Jericho is?
Thank you for using Cyberlife's Android parking service. Spaces are available.
So it would be cool, like I understand for budget reasons you might not want to have interactions available for every single person, but it would be cool to have, one, some kind of more over-the-top indicator for who's interactable and who's not, and second, if you were going to try to diegetically explain this with something like, oh, androids can't talk to humans unbidden or something like that, at least make it so that whenever I see another android, I can talk to them, and not just in sort of selective few cases where the game deems that is okay. This glare is really not helping me. Is that it? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Cyberlife's Android parking service.
Oh good, I get a little bit faster walk now. That's cool. Really slow walk speeds in games can be used to really good effect, but sometimes they're really just annoying. Okay. Actually, let's go this way. Oh, girl. Oh no, can't go that way anymore. Okay. Like this guy. Can't talk to him. Excuse me. Yeah, I apologize. It's like apparently the worst kind of puzzle to have a glare on your screen, but here we go. Oh, I should look at this one. So what does that mean? Constructed symbol. Do I have to move it? Like, I'm not sure what the diegetic metaphor is that they're going for here. Like clearly at this point, even in the game, my character knows that that is a symbol. So now also, like, yes, these symbols have been sort of leading me in different directions, and this one does indicate
Hey man,
another
can you help
one.
me out?
But just from a like writing perspective, it feels strange. feels like this old like hidden object puzzle games. I'm like really not seeing it. Might need your help, chat. Reach away to the roof. Okay. I actually didn't even see that one, but UI kind of helped me out there. So this mode is kind of interesting because it feels a little bit like Transistor, kind of, where I have the ability to kind of plan out moves. Or actually, I do kind of prefer what it's offering here, as opposed to making that like a quick time event where there's fail state, where then I would have to kind of keep continuing or whatever. It's actually kind of a nice way around that. While still giving me control of it. those tight, close shots again. Tense music. And creepy boat sounds. It was a really beautiful shot right there. And I do feel like the cinematography, I'm feeling less of a tension with it in this particular scene. Like I'd mentioned in previous streams how I was really frustrated by not being able to control the camera angle. And this scene, though, I think is just in general requiring less agency of me, so it's a lot easier to just hand that control over to the game. The quarter circle, like, and the half circle turns. I don't know. It's fine. I mean, I've stopped complaining about them, obviously, but yeah. Lights. No. What? Flash. Although, of course, now that I said the thing about the cinematography, I'm back to feeling it again. I think particularly with something like this, where we have like this one pointed directional light, and I want to be able to shine that where I want to without too much obstruction, and having a hard time controlling the character again. Funny enough, that didn't affect me as a jump scare, like, at all. Which is funny because, like, I am extremely susceptible to jump scares normally. But, yeah, that one just didn't do it for me. I think there are some things that they could have done. Like, a lot of times jump scares are sort of preceded by, like, a moment of silence or some sort of indication of relaxation as well, where, like, a lot of times what horror movies will do is sort of put you on edge with sound, and then give you some indication of relaxing a little, and then do it, or at least make you very focused on something, and this kind of didn't do that. I was just walking down a hall, and then there was a jump scare of a thing down at the end of the hall, and it was like, well, that's where my attention is focused already, so... Okay. Sorry, I've been on my tirade about jump scares and not seeing whatever I'm supposed to see here. Okay. Well... one of the reasons that I keep harping on these issues with like controls and stuff like that. I'm not doing it to try to rag on the developers or be, overly pedantic about this stuff. It's that this is a very, narratively focused game that is really asking you to identify with a character really deeply. And each one of these moments that I'm pointing out feels like a moment where the game is breaking that for me, where it's asking me to do a thing, to be, sort of role-playing this character and be in that headspace, but then it's not letting me do that. Cool. So this scene seemed fairly linear, though it did look like there were a few other points here.
Plastic with you?
Hey, Hank. How you doing, man?
Yeah, sick.
Hey, listen, I got a shit hot tip for you. Number 5 and the 3rd. Lickety split. That Billy's one hell of a chaser. You wanna flood it?
Last shit hot tip you gave me set me back a week's wages, baby.
Come on, this is different. It's 100% guaranteed. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Breach of hygiene regulations.
All right, I'm in.
Damn straight. Hey, you won't regret this.
What is your problem? Won't you ever do as you're told? Look, you don't have to follow me around like a poodle.
Now that we're partners, I thought it would be a good idea to get to know each other better so we can work as a team.
We are not partners. I am a human. You are a machine. So just spare me that buddy up bullshit program, okay? Here you go.
Ah, thanks, Gary. I'm starving.
I'll leave that thing here.
Huh, not a chance. Follows me everywhere.
Yeah, okay. Well, now I'm definitely gonna watch some movies.
See?
This Pedro, he was proposing illegal gambling. Am I right?
Yeah.
And you made a bet.
Yeah.
You didn't pay for your number.
Gary's a friend. I scratch his back, he scratches mine.
This morning, when we were chasing those deviants, why didn't you want me to cross the highway?
Because you could have been killed. And I don't like filling out paperwork for damaged equipment.
Maybe I should tell you what we know about deviants.
You read my mind.
Proceed.
We believe that a mutation occurs in the software of some androids,
well rendered.
which can lead to them emulating a human emotion.
In English, please.
They don't really feel emotions. They just get overwhelmed by irrational instructions, which can lead to unpredictable behavior.
Emotions always screw everything up. The androids aren't as different from us as we thought.
Can I ask you a personal question, Lieutenant? Why do you hate androids so much?
I have my reasons.
Is there anything you'd like to know about me?
Hell no. Well, yeah. Why do they make you look so goofy and give you that weird voice?
CyberLife androids are designed to work harmoniously with humans. Both my appearance and voice were specifically designed to facilitate my integration.
Well, they fucked up. You ever dealt with deviants before?
A few months back, a deviant was threatening to jump off the roof with a little girl. I managed to save her.
So I guess you've done all your homework, right? Know everything there is to know about me?
It's one of the most explicit choices I've gotten so far.
The rest doesn't concern me. I just got a report of a suspected deviant. It's a few blocks away. We should go have a look. I'll let you finish your meal. I'll be in the car if you need me.
Hey, Connor. You run out of batteries or what?
I'm sorry. I was making a report to CyberLife.
Well, do you plan on staying in the elevator?
No. I'm coming.
What do we know about this guy?
Not much. Just that a neighbor reported that he heard strange noises coming from this floor. Nobody's supposed to be living here, but the neighbor said he saw a man hiding an LED under his cap.
Oh, Christ, if we have to investigate every time somebody hears a strange noise, we're gonna need more cops. Hey, were you really making a report back there in the elevator? Just by closing your eyes?
Correct.
Shit. Wish I could do that.
Okay, I think that's all dialogue.
Anybody home? Open up, Detroit police!
Stay behind me.
Got it.
Yeah, so they're clearly trying to set something up with, like, all of these moments of him being protected by the android. He's certainly trying to position him as not a bad guy, even though he's, you know, clearly prejudiced. I don't really seem to be able to do much here.
What the fuck is this? Jesus, this place stinks. Well, looks like we came for nothing. Our man's gone.
I'm really enjoying just walking around. Getting the pigeons. Okay.
I need some fresh air. Found something?
I don't know. It looks like a notebook, but it's indecipherable.
I honestly could just walk around this room kicking pigeons for like another 10 minutes. I'm not going to subject you to that, but I really, really want to. Luckily, I have a history of not being able to control my character very well.
RT. Probably initials.
He put his initials in his jacket? That's something your mom does when you're in first grade.
I feel like some level designer or something was just like, more pigeons. Just keep going. We're gonna go way over the top.
Jesus, I hate these things!
And I'm so for it. Like, whoever made the decision to have all the pigeons in this room, like, yes.
Any idea what it means?
RA9. Written 2,471 times. Why is it obsessed with this sign?
Looks like mazes or something.
Oh wow, my kombucha's spicy. I forgot. Okay.
Books. Thought I was the last guy in Detroit to keep some. Electronic books, you can't smell the paper. See the pages turning yellow. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Its LED is in the sink.
Not surprised it was an android. No human could live with all these fucking pigeons.
I apparently could. Just wander around kicking them though. These screens are kind of interesting because there's kind of a lot to balance here in terms of what you're trying to communicate narratively and what you're trying to communicate to the player mechanically. So like if you look at what the screen actually is, it's basically the player has to search the screen for certain bits of clues that are going to give them bits of narrative information. And so there's a little bit of a balance between how many of them are on any particular search, which actually the game has more or less done well. There have been a couple of these particular searches that I felt like have had one or two too many. Then there's also what information you're displaying, and this UI is a little bit overwhelming on information, which I think is both intentional to do kind of a, like, hey, it's an Android, they're processing a lot of information, but it does give it like a little bit of a mental burden for me as a player that it might not otherwise have. I still am not like feeling really fluent on these reconstruction mechanics though. Like the planning mechanics, the pre-construction they called it, I actually really liked the way that those were done. But for some reason, these ones, they feel a little awkward to me. And that might be a function of the fact that like they're more of like an examination, investigation mechanic, so you want to obfuscate it a little bit, I guess. Whereas with the planning mechanic, you want it as streamlined as possible.
Goddamn fucking pigeons! What
But
are you
it
waiting
does
for? Chase it!
make me as a player feel a little bit awkward in a way that
Look out!
something that is also worth pointing out is that I don't think I have failed a QuickTime event yet. And that might be due to the fact that I have played lots of games with QuickTime events. That might also be, I don't know, just as, you know, a game where I am used to hitting buttons quickly. But I don't actually know what happens when you fail a QuickTime event. So I am actually a little bit curious about it. In general, though, I think that QuickTime events are at their best when you're also making decisions.
Oh shit! Shit! Oh, shit! We had it! Fuck!
It's my fault. I should have been faster.
You'd have caught it if it weren't for me.
Yeah, I would
That's
have.
alright. We know what
That's
it was
okay.
like.
I am
We'll
more
find it.
invested in trying to foster a relationship with Hank than I am in the other thing,
Hey, Connor.
catching the guy.
Nothing.
Dramatic tension. Alright.
Who are you?
Fugitives. Just like you. My name is Josh.
I'm Simon.
North.
Wait, what? What are these? Okay, Android.
How many are you?
There are 19 of us still in working order. The rest were damaged escaping their masters.
Many tried to reach Jericho. Few succeed. Humans have little pity for our kind.
And hiding just to stay alive, that's freedom to you?
Humans hate us.
That's not the
Hiding is the only way we can survive.
There is no safe place for those like us. If humans knew we were here, they'd kill us.
It really does feel like in conversation choices,
Only
I
those
feel
who
like
are
I'm just
like
kind
us
of
can
making
find
random selections.
If you could decipher the signs, it's because one of us trusted you enough to give you the key.
There's a place where we can be free. Find Jericho.
I understand how you feel, but we have more freedom here than you ever did.
Maybe I was never ready.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Leggy. I do think
Maybe
there
I
were
was only
probably
what my master
other
wanted me to be.
endings that were further up in the
Now,
scene, but I think from like by
I
the
need to
time I
decide
had
who I
gotten
really
to
You're lost.
to that far up,
Just like the
those
rest
were-
of us.
It looked like there were a few kind of like opt-outs
We
off
didn't
to the
ask for
side.
this.
Most of the
All we can do now.
most of the structure
deal
of the
with it.
different scenes has kind of seemed to be that way. I didn't look at it very closely though, so you
You're safe
absolutely
there.
could be right.
You can stay with us as long as you want.
Go and see Lucy. She might be able to help you.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of dread these moments where it's like, explore this area. I'm like, no. Which is a shame, because that's kind of such a fundamental mechanic in adventure games.
Are you Lucy?
Yeah, I agree, the map
Sit
is
down
super
now.
confusing. So interesting, it feels like they're kind of trying to make her creepy, which sort of in essence others her a little bit.
Show me.
I'll stop the bleeding.
Controller rumbling. Yeah, I was interested how they were going to handle that, whether there was going to be a pain element, which of course makes our hero more sympathetic,
Drink
but
this.
feels like it wouldn't be as narratively appropriate.
Give me your hand.
So this is definitely reading of the sort of like mystical black
You had
person
it all,
trope, though.
and
which
you
is
lost
a
it
little
all.
disappointing.
You've seen hell, and now hell lives in you.
And there are also kind of a lot of
Your heart is troubled.
sort of post-colonialist readings you could do there as well.
A part of shadow and a part of light.
The fact that that kind of othering is normally done through race or some kind of
Your
exoticism.
choices will shape your
And
destiny.
in this particular scene, they're doing that exoticism through like kind of the horror of pieces of her body missing, and the race component's still there. You know, it's kind of occurring to me. I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, aside from budget, why would they not want you to interact with some of these other NPCs? And it does also strike me that, you know, a lot of the writing in games is designed to be functional over being particularly cinematic or engaging. And you know, even in places where I can talk to people like this,
In good shape, that might.
it turns into this whole cinematic thing, you know, and
Diagnostic program's working.
when you set that expectation for your players, you
have anything
have to
good to say.
either uphold it throughout
What happened?
or step back from it and say, okay, these conversations are less important, so they're going to be text only, or they're going to, you know, be in passing, or they're going to repeat a voice line to indicate to the player that's all that exists in this decision tree or dialogue tree. And so, like, I could understand maybe wanting to circumvent that problem by just not letting you interact with the players, but it feels really, really limiting to the player.
I've heard humans are afraid of dying too. Do you know what happens after death?
No. No, I don't.
Well, I'm about to find out. What's your name?
Marcus.
I was glad to meet you, Marcus.
Did the robot just die? So, a lot of the criticism that I've read about this game is that it wants to be taken seriously as kind of a capital A art game, and that a lot of people don't feel that it lives up to that or delivers. And I can certainly see where they're arriving at that criticism. I'm not going to make it myself. I would absolutely withhold making such a strong criticism until having finished the game. But it does feel a little bit like okay, that exchange I just had where this robot is raising this idea of death. Okay, now we know robots are afraid of death. And then we had a scene in which a robot, you know, right after expressing a fear of death, the robot dies. But that, it feels like a very kind of throwaway moment. It feels like a lot of games will make allusions to other games as just kind of a way to get a quick, like, oh, haha, you look like Super Meat Boy or whatever. And it feels like this, we've had a few moments in this game so far where we've had that, but for like seriousness. Like, okay, the game is engaging with abuse, it's therefore serious, but it's a very like throwaway scene.
Living on the streets before we brought him here.
They'll all shut down.
Or
if we
like,
don't
okay,
find a
we've
way
had
to
this
help
conversation about death, but it's
We
this
need
throwaway
pain,
moment.
blood, and bioequivalent. We salvage what we can from those who shut down.
And so I'm not going to comment on any of the larger
So,
themes,
how do they survive?
race and oppression and things like that, until kind of I see where the game is going and how it pays them off. But
We're slowly dying out.
I see where people are drawing that criticism from. I'm not totally sure I agree with it yet, but I see it. It's also kind of interesting, like in the wake of lots of E3 coverage, there's a lot of discussion going on right now about games making political statements and how deeply invested in those political statements the creators of the games want to be, including Quantic Dream. And
how long have you been here?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll say about this game is that it certainly, in terms of marketing,
When I escaped, there was nowhere else to go.
positioned itself as a game that
Jericho
had
seemed as good a place as any.
real political intention. So,
A lot of
so
these
that's
guys
the
in pretty
lens
bad
that we're kind
shape.
of coming to this through.
That's how the humans treat those who disobey. They despise us. They'll never accept what we are.
Who found this place?
Nobody knows anymore. Whoever he was, his body's probably laying somewhere on this boat. If you came here for comfort, you came to the wrong place.
One thing I'll say is the lack of blinking is no longer feeling creepy to me. Though my character looking off in lots of directions is. This game very much is doing the thing that, like, Wind Waker started, where it, you know, the protagonist is looking at things, perhaps to provide a clue or an indication, but it feels really creepy in this game. I think it was really subtle in Wind Waker, and in this one it just feels like I'm not fully in control of my character. I am increasingly grateful for the "where do I go next" button. I totally misread that as proposed to Simon. I was like, alright, just diving right in.
Simon. I know where we can find spare parts.
Is he making a report to
CyberLife
someone?
warehouse is in the Detroit harbor. They have everything we need.
The docks are guarded. We can't just walk in there and take what we want. Humans will never let us.
Which is why we won't ask permission.
We don't have any weapons. And even if we did, none of us knows how to fight.
We can steal what we need without fighting.
We'll just get ourselves killed.
Maybe. But it's better than waiting here to be shut down.
I'm with you.
Maybe it's worth a try.
also down for their robot romance. Okay, so some interesting things going on in this scene. First off, I think this is the first one we've 100% explored. So yeah, we also have some relationship indicators, which are cool. That suggests that it's going to be able to raise and lower. And yeah, all right.
You gonna be okay? We'll get some help here. Soon this will all be just a bad memory.
In this clearly haunted house, we'll just get some help.
This is the place.
Yeah, like, I totally agree. I would be down for some combination of those as well, though. Like, okay, go with the, the big oppression story and include romance. It's really easy to build stakes when you have a romantic partner involved. How long should I wait for the bell again?
Are you Zlatko?
Who's asking?
I was told you could help us.
I don't know who told you that. You came to the wrong place. I'm sorry.
Wait. We really need your help.
Come in.
Yeah, I agree. Within this narrative universe, it's really unclear what robot feelings entail. We had the line from the previous scene about, like, oh, they're not really feeling...
Come on in. Don't be shy.
...overwhelmed. They're, like, not processing, or they're processing too many instructions, or whatever, and it makes them unpredictable.
Luther, would you be so kind as to take these ladies' coats?
But beyond that, we don't really know much about
don't be afraid of
their feelings.
our big friend here. Luther is just another android that I helped. He keeps me company in this big, empty old house.
That guy's definitely evil.
Please, make yourselves at home.
He's being way too hospitable. Definitely evil.
How did you hear about me?
An android. On the street, he said you could help us.
I see. Deviant, huh? What about her?
Yeah, there's been a bit of that, to be honest.
She's human.
And you want to find a safe place. Somewhere you can start a new life. I hear Canada is very lovely at this time of year. Beautiful landscapes, open spaces, clean air, and no android laws. Great place for a fresh start.
I love that Canada is like the utopia of this world.
That's exactly what we want.
Of course. I can help you. But first, we have to get rid of your tracker.
Tracker?
Yeah. All androids are fitted with a tracking device to locate them at all times. I'll remove yours, and then you'll both be safe. Come on. Follow me. The little one can wait for us in the living room.
No, she always stays with me.
Of course. Right this way? Everything we need is in the basement.
Okay. Really wants me to look at the bookcase. Okay. That was really sweet. That, like, the AI there of we start walking
like
and then
this
they,
place.
after a second,
And that man.
hold hands together.
Let's go, I have a bad feeling.
Let's not
Alice, we have nowhere else to go.
Oh, that's
We have to trust him.
Struggling to control my character. Oh, this is totally not creepy.
Please excuse the mess. I needed somewhere discreet for my machines. Removing trackers is illegal, so I opted for discretion over comfort. I hope the little one isn't too scared.
No. No, she'll be all right.
That's good.
Yeah, it would have been a small detail that I think would have been really good to have her, as she's idling, be, like, looking at stuff and not just kind of, like, spinning around or staring at walls or whatever.
This way, please.
But of course, like, there's always more you can do in a game, right? So.
If you could just stand over there.
This is a weird shot. If I don't continue to hold down this button. And then I get this. And this is as much camera movement as I have. Like, yeah, just moments like that. A little awkward stuff. Why is everybody standing around all creepily? See, moments like that where the easiest way to control my character in the camera enough to see the thing is the hint mode.
I should warn you, this could be quite unpleasant. You know what's strange? For some unknown reason, the trackers seem to stop working in Deviants. That's why it's so hard to find them. So, actually, there's no reason to remove your tracker.
What? You said that...
Yeah. People believe what they want. You Deviants are so naive. They'll come to me expecting me to help them. And I just reset them, sell them on. Or I keep them for my little experiments.
No! No! I don't want to be reset! Let me go! Ah!
Oh, I forgot about the child. Lock it up. I'll deal with it later.
Alice! Alice, no!
wants to be a mother. That's so sweet. And so deluded. I think it's time we put you out of your misery. That's what you get for having a dream. It always ends up the same way. Tears and disillusionment. Believe me, you're better off being raised and feeling nothing. No more pain. No more.
Yeah, I'll have to see something calling on dreams imagery there. Having a dream, dreams to etc.
Oh, poor little lad.
Feels like a pretty explicit.
Oh, looks like Mommy doesn't remember you at all, huh? Looks like Mommy's completely forgotten you.
Carl, what happened to you?
Oh, all right, that's enough. Come on.
Hey.
You bit me. I'm gonna teach you some manners, you little bitch.
Carl! Wake up, Carl!
So what's funny is when he opened the door, I was going to say that he actually visually reminded me of the abusive father. So it seems like they're trying to draw some pretty explicit parallels there. Oh my gosh, that music sounded like Battlestar Galactica theme for a second. Okay. Sure. How do I do that? Fire Seal, good to see you. Okay, so I'm really not sure what the even correct thing to do in that situation was. But it's cool that it's giving me something like a soft whoa, that was creepy. Come on. Something like a soft fail. I also appreciate their indication of corruption there. Okay. Creepy.
Help us.
He erased her memory.
No. This can't be happening.
You have to remember. For her sake.
He likes to play with us. Creating monsters. For his amusement. But who's the real monster? Who heaped it to us?
That writing, though. That line was a bit heavy-handed.
You must remember who you are. Otherwise, the little one will die.
Okay. So, yeah, doesn't really feel urgent anymore. Our urgent music is gone, and it kind of seems like the game is inviting me to kind of stop and examine each of these things. There have been moments, certainly in previous scenes, where like the examination mechanics have felt at odds with the urgency that was trying to be created both in the story and the music and stuff. I'm not feeling that now. So that the line felt heavy-handed to me, just in that he's making monsters, but who's the real monster, is like a pretty, heavily used trope in lots of things. So yeah, I mean, like, funny enough, I didn't actually have a problem with the heavy-handedness of the imagery. Like, sure, he's certainly like mutilating robots and using them as sex slaves and all of that. And yeah, I'm good with that as kind of a way to signal to the player, like, this guy is clearly evil. But yeah, the heavy-handedness.
Master's dinner's ready. Take it up to him.
Yes, Luther.
Plus named Luther and all. Okay. Trying really hard to control my character. Okay.
And you want to find a safe place. Somewhere you can start a new life.
I'm hoping that they're gonna at least acknowledge him sort of visually looking similar to the music father we had earlier. Oops. Sorry, now I'm totally doing that video game thing where I'm just wandering around looking at stuff and ignoring my objective. Hard time controlling my character.
Just set it down on the table over there.
There's almost assuredly some commentary about
Get rid of that carcass.
Torsos there.
Take it next door.
Fucking whore walked out on me for a fucking accountant!
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Yes, Latko.
Luther! Luther!
Like, certainly there was the giant
Yes, Latko.
controversy over the...
I should be done here in 10 minutes or so. Have a look at the
bus.
little one, see what I can do with it.
This feels
Understood,
like super good dialogue with that.
I'll bring you the little
and
one
I'm
in 10
hoping in a
minutes.
way that's gonna pay off and be interesting. That is creepy. I appreciate the exclamation point at the end of that. Wait, I have a timer on this? Apparently so. Okay, maybe I will be a little bit less leisurely about wandering around and exploring stuff. Oh my gosh, but there's so many things to explore. It's unclear if there's a narrative reason for the timer. I think the idea there feels really very Golden Compass. I think the idea there is that, like, you know, our memory has recently been erased and maybe we can still recover it, but that opportunity will be lost.
Has the Master authorized you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Can I deactivate you?
You must always obey the Master. Oh yes, you must always obey. You should not be here. You have no business here.
Right.
No, you have no business here.
What's up?
I'm sorry. About the little one.
That is not at all the direction I expected that to go. Can I move? There we go. Yeah, okay, sorry. I'll turn around. Alright. Big room. So, I know it's, you know, sort of the point, but man, timers really stress me out in adventure games, and they stress me out even more in games where it is super hard to control. Wait, was that my opportunity to have a light source? Because I kind of want it. Hey. No. Okay. These might be reminders for other pads.
Detroit residents were disturbed by a surprising chase through the city's streets this morning. According to several witnesses,
I have very little control over the camera when I'm walking around, and a lot of that is why you keep seeing me go into what do I do next mode, because it's literally the only way that I get 360 camera movement.
Where the two fugitives risked their lives to cross the traffic.
My other streams I've been complaining a lot about the limited control of camera, and I understand that it's kind of an authorial choice, but yeah, it's a little frustrating. In a lot of ways, the camera feels a little bit like an early Resident Evil game, where it's like I have a button, I can kind of switch between fixed positions, like this versus this, but in order to get 360, and then I can kind of like shift it a little bit, left and right, but in order to get like actual 360 control, I have to go into that other mode.
Forget you.
Yeah, definitely a silent hill fight.
I'm so sorry. You were right. We never should have come. We have to go. Follow me and don't make any noise, okay?
Hand holding it?
Luther! this life.
I'm finished here. Go fetch the little one.
Right away, Psycho.
Okay. Should we hide? Should we run? Let's hide. This does not feel like a safe hiding spot at all.
The little one is gone.
I can't have just disappeared. Gotta be here somewhere.
This was a bad
What are you waiting for? Go look.
So this is actually extremely like well designed in terms of like narrative design. I definitely feel like they can increase in drama, definitely an increase in dramatic tension from the fact that I made this decision that I sort of immediately regret, but it seemed like the right one at the time. Definitely afraid to come out.
What the fuck are you doing? Come here.
Coming.
Yes, I am holding the triangle button. I'm not sure if I need to, but in every cutscene where I have like stopped walking forward, for example, it turned out that I needed to. So I think that triangle is hovering there to indicate that I need to continue holding it. Okay. Do we think it's safe? I'm gonna stop. Let's try it. It would have been really cool to be able to like look around a little as I was getting up.
They're searching the house. We've got to get out before they find us.
Let's go. Nope, let's not do that. I am really, really glad that she did that and not just like walked out into the corridor.
Where are they? Luther! Find them, for fuck's sake!
And yes, for the record, I did need to continue holding the triangle button. Gratuitous breast shot right in the open crack there.
Fucking android. I should have taken it apart when I set eyes on it. Yes. Nothing. Trouble.
Okay, so then it seemed like he grabbed a gun. So actually it's doing well with the drama in this, like, particular scene. Like, now we've increased dramatic intensity by having a gun.
You disobey the master. You disobey the master.
You're the worst. You're the worst. No, stay in the tub.
Yes, yes, yes. They're here. They're here. Come quickly. Come quickly. They're here. They're here.
We can't stop them. We just need to be brave, Alice.
I know you're there, you sneaky bitch. Show yourself. Get a flashlight. There's one on the table. Come on, show yourself. Look, I'm not gonna hurt you. I only want to talk with you. There you are.
That was totally not low risk.
Get a move on.
Leave her alone!
No more hide and seek for you.
I am kind of curious what happened to my feelings. Oh yeah, that was there.
They're over there.
So yeah, so that first input was the first input of a quick time event that I failed. And that was 100% handled in a great way, I think. Let's go back. Because it was the first input. I wasn't expecting a quick tournament there. So it was a soft hit. Like, Alice basically was able to save me from it. And I would expect something like now where I'm, going, like, I've been through several steps at this point. Like, I would expect that the punishments would become more and more severe. Yes, that bear is a champion.
Go, Alice! No! I won't leave! Go! Run as fast as you can!
I warned you. Dreams always end in tears. You should have listened to me. What are you doing? Get out of my way.
No. Not this time.
I said get out of my way or I'll shoot right through you. How dare you?
Yeah, I've also been wondering about the QTEs. In other sequences, it's pretty clear that they changed.
Who let you out? Get away from me! Get away from me! Obey me! I'm your master! I'm your master!
I didn't want to hurt you. He programmed me to obey him. When I saw the little one risk her life to save you, it was like opening my eyes for the first time. Finally, I could see. I know you have no reason to trust me after what I did.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, she's spoken a little bit, but I will say that, like, the playable characters do seem fairly quiet, except for, well, 2 out of 3 of the playable characters seem pretty quiet.
You and the little one.
All right. I trust you.
And keeping in mind, this character did just have her memory erased, so...
I was so scared of losing you.
This is a really long scene. Wow. Okay. So, Luther joined us. I'm not seeing... Oh, it looks like there were a couple of other ways out that wouldn't have happened. The bear protects us. Yeah, interesting. So yeah, I'm still super in favor of this screen as a thing. I think it's really useful, both for sort of like fostering a sense of, hey, other stuff really could have happened. My choices actually did mean something, and also just like these locked things drive me crazy, completionist that I am. Okay, let's move on. I'll maybe do like 1 or 2 more scenes, but probably need to call it soon. I'm gonna pause for 1 second and turn on some of the lights. Yeah, definitely intense, right? Okay, my lights seem to not want to go. All right. Find Amanda at the slowest walk ever. Are we holding an umbrella? I'm just not able to open it at all. Okay. And yeah, that was tense. I think that scene actually did a really good job with ramping up dramatic tension in a
Hello,
way
Amanda.
that felt reactive to my
Hi.
choices.
I've been expecting you. Would you mind a little walk? That deviant seemed to be an intriguing case. Pity you didn't manage to capture it.
Amanda passive-aggressively scolds me.
I have no excuse. I should have been more efficient.
Did you manage to learn anything?
We're gonna go with
Fascinated by
birds.
birds. We've seen deviants interested in other life forms, like insects or pets. But nothing like this.
What else?
The walls of the apartment were covered with drawings of labyrinths and other symbols. Like the other deviants, it seemed obsessed with RA9.
You came very close to capturing that deviant.
Yeah, I agree, actually. I like the,
How
the
is your
lock choice.
relationship with the Lieutenant developing?
And then on a screen like this, where there's
seemed
an
grateful
unlocked
that I
choice
saved
and
his
then
life on that
3,
roof.
like normal
He didn't
choices,
say anything,
it
but
always
he
seems like
expressed it
the
in his own
best
way.
option. And I mean, that's how, you know, for example, games that are free-to-play, choice-based games, actually monetize.
You don't
because
have
it's like,
much
okay,
time.
everybody wants the cool
Deviancy
unlock
continues
choice.
to spread.
So
It's
that they
only
can
a
pay
matter
more.
of time before the media finds out about it. We need to stop this.
This one feels
Whatever
like
it
reward,
takes.
so it's a little bit different. But
I will solve this investigation, Amanda. I won't disappoint you.
we don't really know what RA9
A new
is.
case just came in. Find Anderson and investigate it.
And they have these long lingering shots. I always am like, should I be moving here? And the answer seems to 50-50 be like yes and no.
You have reached your destination. Thank you for traveling with Detroit Taxis. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
That's the most awkward way to get out of a taxi ever. Just gonna bother this guy who hates us at his house in the middle of the night.
Lieutenant Anderson! Anybody home?
See, funny enough, some of the most interesting choices I feel like I've made so far have been like how quickly to ring the bell after the first time I rang the bell. It's the third time I've had to make this choice now. Apparently nobody ever does the thing on its first try. Trying to control my character, spinning in circles. Oh, you know, just creep in the windows. Oh, that's no good.
Lieutenant Anderson! Easy, Sumo. I'm your friend. See? I know your name. I'm here to save your owner.
So I will say that I think I do apparently really want to see him. So I do think that this game has actually done a pretty good job of surfacing the effects of past things that I've done. Like, that felt very directly related to the fact that I asked him previously about his dog. And it can be a little tough because those lines can sometimes feel really heavy-handed as a writer to write. Like, see, I know your name. It feels like an awkward line, but what it's doing is actually communicating to the player that this content you're seeing is the result of a past thing that happened.
Lieutenant. Wake up, Lieutenant.
And so actually, I think
It's
this
me,
game has done a pretty good job with those.
I'm going to sober you up for your own safety. I'll have to warn you,
Leave me
this may be
alone,
unpleasant.
fucking android. Get the fuck out of my house.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant, but I need you. Thank you in advance for your cooperation.
Get the fuck out of here!
This game.
Sulu! Attack! Good job. Attack!
Okay.
Fuck, I think I'm gonna be sick. Oh, leave me alone, you asshole. I'm not going anywhere. What the hell are you doing? I don't want a bath. Thank you.
Sorry, Lieutenant.
Yeah, it really is.
It's for your own.
The tone change here is pretty abrupt.
Turn it off! Turn it off! What the fuck are you doing here?
A homicide was reported 43 minutes ago. I couldn't find you at Jimmy's bar, so I came to see if you were at home.
Jesus, I must be the only cop in the world that gets assaulted in his own house by his own fucking android. Can't you just leave me alone?
Let's be aggressive.
If you're unable to conduct this investigation, I'll have to inform your superiors.
Go ahead, tell them I don't give a shit.
That's not the
Lieutenant,
direction of
you're not
aggressive I
yourself.
thought I would be going,
You
but...
should...
Beat it, you hear me? Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I understand.
I'm not leaving, so...
It probably wasn't interesting anyway. A man found dead in a sex club downtown. Guess they'll have to solve the case without us.
You know, probably wouldn't do me any harm to get some air. There's some clothes in the bedroom there.
I'll go get them.
Yeah, a lot of my ranting so far has been about the display text and how super vague it is, and how much it steps on agency at times, and how frustrating it is. Wait, what am I doing? I'm getting clothes, right? Yeah, okay.
What do you want to wear?
Whatever.
Oh man, okay. Chat. What should we go with? I love that none of them are like normal choices either. I'm personally leaning a little bit towards streaky, but I'm interested in whatever y'all are up to. Hippie? Hippie, okay. Hippie it is. See, I like when it lets me make nice slow decisions. It's great.
Are you all right, Lieutenant?
This game also seems a little weirdly obsessed with bathrooms.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if
Why
that's an effort to make
just,
it more, like,
give me 5
realistic
minutes,
or
okay?
gritty, or what's up.
Sure.
President Warren? Her? Like Elizabeth Warren?
The Kremlin has yet to respond, but this is clearly a
feels-
new escalation in the conflict. Many experts are suggesting the specter of a third world war draws closer every day.
Ooh, too real. Too real. Take. So I wonder if that's a moment where if we hadn't previously gathered the information that that he likes jazz, that might have come up. No, we knew that he liked heavy metal. Actually, I don't think we knew that he liked jazz. Okay. So our objective right now is literally just to stalk him while he sorts himself in the bathroom. Yeah, the like, oh, we're topical with World War III. I get it. I mean, and like I sort of started talking a little bit at the beginning of this stream, and then trailed off a bit about what sorts of things this game is doing to try to position itself as like high art, which feels like a really relevant conversation in the wake of this conversation going on around E3 on what kinds of politics are happening in games and what
Sorry about the window,
what
Lieutenant.
games
I
companies
really thought you'd been
actually want to
attacked.
commit to
Of course, CyberLife will pay for the
in
damage.
terms of messaging.
Yeah, trust me, I'll send him a bill.
But that does feel like another example, like some of the ones that I pointed out earlier, of like, hey, here's a subject that we're just going to kind of in passing bring up, but not really have any deep commentary or anything to really say about it or really engage with it very deeply. And again, these are all points that, like, giving the game the benefit of the doubt might come up later and pay themselves off in interesting ways. So I don't want to rush to judgment on those, but yeah, it does feel a little bit shallow at times. There was tactile on the controller while I was petting the dog. That's pretty great. I'm all for games that let you pet dogs, and I'm double all for games that let you pet dogs and have the controller react. Okay, but like the super rendering of food in this game. Pretty great. So certainly trying to make Hank a more sympathetic figure. We're seeing him kind of at a weak point in this scene, and the more information we have on past pain that he's been through,
Be a good dog,
the more
Sumo.
sympathetic it makes
I
him.
won't be long.
I love the dog. Okay, so I think I'm probably gonna call it a day there. Before I go, I wanted to just kind of wrap things up a little bit, answer any final questions from chat or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, so a couple of things. I started the stream by talking a little bit about point of view and how this game is shifting between points of view. And I think, like, in the last episode, we saw a little bit of dissonance between me being sympathetic to one character, and then also the game asking me to be sympathetic toward a character that I didn't feel sympathetic toward in that moment. I think in this episode it's done a lot better job, but I just kind of wanted to unpack a little bit of stuff that I don't feel like I kind of delved into deeply enough in the last stream. So we basically have three characters that we're sort of rotating between. And normally when you have a narrative that has these kind of points of view shift, the purpose of that is to make characters more sympathetic who might otherwise be unsympathetic. So for example, if we have Connor pursuing Kara, if the entire story were told from Kara's point of view, then when we had those moments, Connor would just straight up feel like a villain. But because we have these moments that are asking us to be sympathetic to Connor, it kind of changes it to a little more like shades of gray. So, and we see this in, I think Game of Thrones is a really classic and fairly current example of a story that's doing this, where it's trying to basically engage with the message of good and evil really is about point of view, and you can always justify things. And so I think that's the direction that this game feels like it's going for, the points of view shift. In something like a film or a book, it's a lot easier to get away with that. Books in particular are really good at creating empathy because you're kind of getting the inner thoughts of the character. With games, it's a little bit harder because you're asking your players to be that character. Like, you're asking your players to roleplay a specific character. And in places where you have a player character that's very specified, it provides a framing for the players to be able to roleplay using those hooks. So we know, like, okay, Hank is a certain character and we want to have a relationship with Hank, so we're going to try to roleplay Connor in a particular way. You start to get into tough situations, though, when motivations clash. When, like, my player character's motivation is at odds with my motivation as a player, it starts to create distance between me and that character. And so I was definitely feeling that a lot in the last episode with me as a player and Connor as a character just not being able to bridge that gap, which in an interesting way makes me more sympathetic to Hank, who has this opposition. But like, I am hoping that the game is doing this intentionally and is going to pay that off somehow. And so far, it hasn't pushed it any further. It's just kind of like, okay, now I'm Connor again, and I am, doing these things to try to help Hank and, what have you. So, yeah, so interesting stuff in that direction. Yeah, we certainly had tone a little all over the place in this episode, which is good. I mean, I think having a little bit of light tone after such a really heavy scene before this is kind of good and palate cleansing. Plus a dog, yay! Everybody loves dogs. And I'm still, as I say, I'm still sort of holding judgment on the issue of this game's artistic ambitions, and things like overall themes and messages are really hard until we finish it, but we will keep playing. So I will be back on Sunday. There is a chance that the Sunday stream may have to be pushed a little bit later, but I will update on Twitter if that's the case. And yeah, it looks like no final questions from chat, so thanks everybody for watching, and I will see y'all Sunday.